Contention. Critique. Conjecture. Conclusion.
The Huddle with paperplusoffice.co.nz. Shop online anytime. They're open 24/7.
Josie Pagani is here again. Hello, Josie.
Hello, Larry.
And we have Cameron Slater from whaleoil.co.nz and editor of The Truth with us. Hello, Cam.
Good evening, Larry.
Josie, issue number one to you, the Greens, and with the support of Labour, as I understand anyway, have a plan for the Auckland Inner Rail Link. It is to fund at least 60% of the cost. I don't know how many billions this is going to cost, but anyway, 60%. The plan appears to be to halt the likes of transmission gully type projects. That is where some of the funding will come from. The rest, I suppose, they would have to borrow. Are you okay to fund this, Josie?
Well, not like that, Larry. That's just daft. I mean, pitting Wellington's transport problems versus Auckland's transport problems just doesn't make any sense at all. But the problem with this whole debate over rail versus road, you get the left sounding like it's all rail and no roads. Roads are bad. And then you get the right sounding like it's all rail and no roads.
That's not bad.
You know, and it's like, oh, come on, it's like trains are a gateway drug to dope or something.
They
you know?
are. They're a gateway drug to subsidies.
See, there you go. You see, it's trains today, communes tomorrow. You see, the right just get nutty on this, and that annoys me just as much as the left getting nutty on it. Because most people know, Larry, it's a mix of things, right? You've got to have some good public transport, and yes, you've got to have roads.
You have privatised.
Oh, so no trains. See, here we go, nutty, righty.
No, it's not
rubbish.
nutty. These councils and government are once again prescribing Wellington-based solutions for Auckland. Trains will not work here. A stupid little rail network for Len to play with, a little round circuit through the city, is not going to solve the problems of getting from Flatbush to Henderson.
That's
rail
true, but
will not solve
it will
that.
make a bit of a difference.
Well,
and the problem is there's been Brideshead Revisited toffs on the right saying no to these projects since the 1920s.
Right, well, okay, look, Josie,
yes?
it might make a bit of a difference. It might make a bit of a difference.
Make a bit of a difference.
I'm not convinced it'll make that much of a difference, and I think it's logical to extend that rail. I do. However, Cameron, that is not good reason to plunder billions of taxpayer money into this.
No, well, and the Greens, the Green Taliban and Labour are against different roads as well. Labour wants to cancel what they call the Holiday Highway, which incidentally is State Highway 1. The Greens want to cancel Transmission Gully and isolate Wellington.
Yeah, that's
They can't agree on either of those. Trains won't work unless we allow another million people in Auckland. I'd love to see the outrage that comes from that. And the bottom line is public transport in reality is for other people to use. And the people who come up with it...
If you like cars, you should support public transport because you can go on the road as much as you like.
I support public transport for other people so they get off my road and out of my way.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know,
everybody thinks like that, and so no one takes public.
Yeah, all right. Well, Josie, you are correct. I mean, you can't say, well, Transmission Gully. You know, it's been planning for how many years now? I don't know.
No, I mean
decades. And so, well, we're gonna cut that off. That's going to halt, and we're going to throw it into a rail link.
And you can't do that. I mean, Transmission Gully is absolutely vital for Wellington.
Labour's said they're going to cancel.
But Cam, you've got to stop saying no to all these things. When do you say yes to investment?
I used to be a change manager. Knows my second language. Look, Labour has said at least 1,000 times that they're going to cancel the what they call the Holiday Highway, and they're going to apply that money to schools, to health, to the inner city rail. You can't spend that money 5 times over. David Shearer needs to come clean. And it's interesting to note the Herald has finally worked out what the relationship is between the Greens and Labour. They've said that the Greens have got a policy and Labour supports it. So you know who's running the opposition.
Josie, issue number 2, Labour is signalling changes to the electricity sector. They are looking at changes to stop what they say are relentless power rises, bills going up and up and up. What is the game plan here, do you think?
Well, I think if they hadn't signalled they were going to do something, then the right would be attacking them in the future, saying, why didn't you say something about it at the time? So they're right to signal it now, and they're right to do something about power prices. I'd like to see more detail around it, and I'm wondering what will they do? Because there's a couple of options here, Larry. You could take away the TY subsidy, which has been around. That would actually lower prices for everybody. That subsidy's, basically sucking money away from the public. Or you could do something like progressive pricing, where you require power companies to supply the
right.
amount of electricity lower, and it's an incentive to save rather than use more power. There's heaps of things you can do. So I'd like a bit of detail on it.
Well, what do you think the game plan is here? Certainly it's threatening mum and dad investors in Mighty River Power, Cam.
Oh, look, it's just economic sabotage from a party that lacks policy. This morning on Mike Hosking's show, you had David Shearer basically word for word reiterating Labor's 2011 policy, and then he releases this fancy little graph that he put on Facebook and has been pushing out that links to a nice report about power prices. And I'll tell you what, it's very interesting because in that list of countries with cheap power and cheaper power and getting cheaper, you've got the United States in there who's opened up fracking and changed coal-fired power stations to gas. It's lowered the cost there. But the most interesting thing of all is that the mixed ownership model is extensive in all of those OECD countries, including the country with the cheapest power, which is Korea.
Yeah, but hold on a minute.
The government, hold on, Josie. No, you need to wait here, right? Korea, the government owns 51% of the power supply in Korea. So what Shearer's trying to do here is have a bob each way. He's not brave enough to tell us what he'll actually do, and he's just using weasel words.
The other thing, Josie, with respect to Mr. Shearer, we'll talk to him about this after 6 o'clock in the program. So he puts this on his Facebook. I've had a look at the numbers, and all of the countries he cites, is it Melita? All of them, right? All of them, their power prices are higher than ours.
Well, he says power prices have gone up $750 over the last 15 years, doesn't he? And I don't really care what other countries are doing. That's blimmin' high. But the point I want to make is that Contact Energy, when it was privatised, and let's remember it started off as a minority foreign ownership, and it's now majority foreign ownership. What did it do when the global financial crisis hit? First thing it did in 2008, put the prices up 12%, so we're paying more for our power, and it doubled its directors' fees. So, they're right to think we've got to do something if we're going to be privatising more of our power companies. I don't see what's wrong with that.
Thank you. That is Josie Pagani and Cameron Slater on the Huddle. It is now 20 to 6. The Prime Minister is with us next.